Podcast Rock City.
What's up, everybody? Joe here from Podcast Rock City. I want to thank you guys for listening to the last show, and man, we had a really good response, or I did. I'm loving the fact that you guys are participating in these shows, and I really appreciate it. Always remember that after you listen to the show, you can always leave me a message on my Facebook, which is Podcast Rock City, or you can leave a message on YouTube if you've done that, or especially, through our email, which is podcastrockcity1, the number 1, at gmail.com. Last show was with Ken Mills from the podcast. He was awesome, and he's becoming a really great friend, and I appreciate everything that he's done for me, along with the other guys. And all the podcast guys have been awesome. If you get a chance, please listen to as many as you possibly can. It's better than listening to the radio. If you're listening to CDs, you can always do that, but once a month for some shows and once a week for others, listen to the shows. This week, or today, Kiss announced the big tour. We have huge news. They're going on tour with Def Leppard. At first, I wasn't really excited about this at all, I have to be honest, but watched the press conference, and just like I'm getting ready to go to WrestleMania. Last week, I got pumped for WrestleMania. Today, I am pumped for this Kiss tour. It's going to be a lot better than I thought it was going to be. I think that, once I sat and thought about all the hits that I know from Def Leppard and how much I really loved that band when I was a kid, especially Pyromania and before. I didn't really get into the after stuff, but I'm going to go out and I'm going to buy the CDs and I'm going to listen, or I'll download it on iTunes for all you young people. And, and I think I'm going to listen to them and get up to date and see what I can find new and really get into it. Okay, so for the past few weeks, I've had special guests come in from other podcasts, and the shows have been great. It's been a lot of fun talking with other people that are interested in Kiss rather than just doing shows myself. So with the big press conference that happened today, I thought that I would find somebody that would want to come on with me, little old Joe, and carry on a conversation about what happened and what they think is going to happen. And I was able to get another Kiss podcast / interviewer A-lister, and that is Mitch Lafon. How you doing?
Very well, actually. I'm not doing Kiss podcasts anymore.
Right. You're doing, yeah, that's pretty spectacular. From everything that I've read, and I listened to an interview that you did recently, right. and basically, you I think you had the right idea. I think doing interviews, I have listened to tons of the Three Sides podcasts, but when you guys interview people is when you really get the most information, and it's not, to me, I like opinion, but when you're getting that inside story, it's more intriguing.
Yeah, and I don't think there's anything wrong with the discussion like we're doing right now.
Right.
But that has to be, to me, the last resort. If you have incredible guests, and after incredible guests lining up to talk to you, I think it makes sense to go with the guests first and not have some kind of pseudo schedule where it's only once a month. And because at the end of the day, once a month means 12 guests a year. And the Kiss story over 40 years is more worthy of just 12 guests in a year. There's a lot of people out there willing to talk and having, from promoters to roadies to ex-band members. I think just 12 a year was very limiting. And so
I've even seen the Kiss chef interviewed.
Yeah, that was funny. That was on that Creatures of the Net with Cassie.
Yeah, he's great.
But you know what? As silly as that might sound, I think that's interesting because you don't think about what it takes to get the band ready for a show. I mean, you can't have a chef serving up pizza and fried chicken before a show. So there is a certain, rhythm and way a gastronomy of preparing for a show. So no, I think it's great.
Yeah, it's really cool. So, so Kiss announced a big tour today. Def Leppard and Kiss on tour. They're going to
Yeah,
start, I believe, Utah,
yeah.
which was really interesting to me. And it's
Y-
getting 42 shows.
Yep.
So,
Yeah, a nice little summer jaunt through the American sheds.
yeah,
And well,
ba-
it's a shed tour, and a lot of Canadians are going, "Oh, why aren't they coming here?" And a lot of people in the UK today, why aren't they coming here? Well, you don't have summer sheds, boys and girls.
no, it's true. Down here in Atlanta, I think they're coming July 18th, and we have the amphitheater.
Right.
I have to say, the last 3 times, this will be the third time in a row that they've come to Outdoor Arena. Before that, it was at Phillips, and it was really good shows. But here's what I want to ask you. So this
Yeah,
is the 40th anniversary tour. So
a leg of it.
yeah, a leg of it. But my question is do you think that with it being the 40th anniversary tour, or like you said, a leg of it, should we be getting a smaller Kiss show, or should we be getting a bigger Kiss show?
Listen, we should be getting a bigger Kiss show, but I think what the casual fan doesn't understand are the forces at play here. A lot of the promoters and basically Live Nation have purchased or have agreements with these outdoor venues, and they need to fill them. You know,
Right.
and the promoters are going to say, we're putting you in this venue, take it or leave it. And a lot of times promoters will say, we need a package that's interesting to a cross section of our fan base or of our potential audience. So a lot of this is not. I was reading a lot of, Def Leppard hates Montreal and Kiss hates Ottawa,
Oh,
and I'm like, well, no, that's really not how it plays out. They send the offers out to the different promoters and the different venues, and some can take it and some not. And the important thing about the summer shed tour is that all these amphitheaters have a built-in stage, and the band just comes in and puts their gear on top of the stage. And
right.
the fact that basically means that the trucks in the back don't have staging going around. So they can't just pull into an arena, because for one show, that means they would have to have staging flown out from somewhere, and that's cost prohibitive. So, you know, the bottom line is, this is what promoters want. This is what promoters are willing to pay for. And they've got those outside venues that they have to fill. And because it's outside, there's limited dates, and they love to fill it with shows they think will be 100% sold out. So, you know what? The fans win on this one.
No, they do. And plus, I have to be honest. When I first heard Def Leppard and Kiss, I was a little disappointed. But then when I
And
thought
Night
about
Ranger and
and
Night
Night
Ranger.
Ranger, right. And then when I thought about it, I was like, man, you know what? I'm really gonna like embrace having the opportunity to see Def Leppard. I saw them one time years and years ago. And I've never seen Night Ranger, and that's another band that I really love. I didn't go on the third Kiss cruise. I went on the first two, and I think the third one they were on. So I didn't get the opportunity to see them, but this will be pretty cool.
This is going to be a great tour. I've seen Def Leppard recently on Summer Jaunts with Bryan Adams, with Journey, with Poison and Lita Ford. They put on a solid show. Also with Billy Idol, I saw them. They put on a solid show every year. I mean, you get there and you get 15 of the greatest songs you ever heard in the 80s played very well. I mean, there's no complaints. And the only thing I would hope for from the Kiss side is that with a 60 or 65-minute set, I really hope that they seriously curtail any guitar solos and drum solos. Yeah, okay, they have to be there, I guess, but you don't need 4 or 5 minutes of Gene spitting blood. Let's cut that down to a minute and a half. You don't need a
Right.
9-minute jam with Tommy and Eric. I love Tommy and Eric, but you can bring that jam down to a nice 2.5 minutes, 3 minutes, seg into another song. Let's just hope we don't lose songs uh,
Right.
compared to
I
solo.
agree 100%. As a matter of fact, I did a show about what I would want, or and I really think that the set list is going to really be important here, because I don't want I went and saw a show on the Monster tour.
Mm-hmm.
And and unfortunately I felt like it was repeat, like it's a lot of the same stuff. I really would like to see them celebrate every era as much as they possibly can in a short set.
Yeah, unfortunately, that's not what you're going to see on this set. I mean, the fans that are out there to see both Def Leppard, because you're attracting probably 50% of the audience is Def Leppard fans, and
Sure.
they're from Kiss. They're probably going to know Beth. They're probably going to know "I Was Made for Loving You." They're probably going to know "Lick It Up." So you're going to get those kinds of songs. You're not going to get anything too spicy, which is, unfortunate. But I gotta say, I've been a huge critic of set lists by a lot of bands, Poison and Cinderella, because they're all very stale. And my other favorite band, Metallica, which changes up to 8 songs per night, are now doing this by request fan voting tour. And you know what? The fans in pretty much every city voted for Enter Sandman, Nothing Else Matters, Sad But True. So you know what? I guess at the end of the day, Gene and Paul are absolutely right. No matter how many diehards say they want to hear, all night,
Right.
The paying audience wants to hear rock and roll all night in Detroit Rock City, and I guess I give up. The Metallica by request tour this summer or this now that started yesterday,
Right.
is proving that people just want hits.
That's what they want. They want to hear the songs that they know. Now, I did, to get off the subject for a second, I did see that you posted that Metallica, they debuted a new song last night. Was it good? Did you hear it?
Yeah, I heard. Well, I mean, I heard the YouTube clips of it. It sounded like a decent Metallica song. Nothing too original. It had the same kind of bridge and the same kind of construction as a lot of their songs. But I love Metallica. I mean,
oh yeah, I'm there with you.
Is a great live experience. They're coming to Montreal this year for the Heavy Montreal Festival. 60 bands in 2 days. I'll be working that event. Doing interviews and stuff with bands backstage. So I'm going to have a front row seat to all the action, and I am stoked.
That sounds like a lot of fun. Let me ask you this. Do you think that with the start of this tour, are we seeing the beginning of the end of
Kiss?
Kiss, yeah. Maybe Kiss as we know it. How about that?
Yeah, absolutely. I really do. I've heard people mention that Kiss is on a final 3-year plan. Now, listen, unless it comes from Gene's mouth or Paul's mouth, whatever anybody else says is a lot of who shot John. But a lot of the people are saying, listen, we're on a 3-year plan. So who knows? I was just talking about Pcrc with somebody, and he's 68. So you look at, now he's not in the band, obviously, but you look at Gene and you look at Paul, they're starting to hit 64, 65.
Right.
Do they really want to be strapping on all this makeup when they're hitting 71, 72? No.
No, they don't.
So yeah, we're in the twilight, folks. It's dawn or dusk.
Right. Okay. So, is there anything like with this tour getting ready to travel through? You're going to be able to hit the States and see a couple shows or so?
Yeah, I'm looking at my options right now, and right now it seems as though the closest things to me, because I'm going to drive down, would either be in Mansfield, Massachusetts, or Saratoga Springs, New York, or quite possibly just a jaunt over to Toronto, which is further away actually than Saratoga Springs for me. So yeah, there's possibilities, but I got to say I'm not a big Summer Shed fan. That venue in Saratoga is a nightmare to get in and out of. The venue in Mansfield, Mass is hidden in the woods somewhere, and the amphitheater in Toronto, well, is, I don't know. I don't know. I like an arena with air conditioning. There's no joy in standing out in 100-degree heat or in pouring rain, quite frankly.
Right.
We'll see.
So basically what we've figured out from either listening to the interview today or the press conference and reading is we're going to get a shortened Kiss set. Hopefully it'll have less of the solos and more, of the music, and focus on that. And I wonder if you think that this is a time when they're going to really be trying to win younger fans for maybe another version of Kiss. You know what I mean?
Oh, the dreaded Kiss 2.0 that I've
Right.
discussed with many people.
Right.
Um, yeah, I think Kiss 2.0 is going to be a reality. And by the way, they wouldn't be the first band. I have seen the band Foreigner twice in my life, and I have not seen a single original member play. So, uh, if Foreigner can show up to the Olympia in Montreal in front of 2,000 people and sell it out, there's no reason why Kiss, with all the stage makeup and all that, cannot move into a 2.0 situation without anybody noticing. And they do have an advantage over Foreigner, is that Tommy Thayer is reasonably young in the rock world.
Right.
And Eric Singer is in his 50s, but listen, if Mick Jagger's doing it at 70, Eric Singer could certainly go on for another 15 years if he wanted to. And if you have those two guys who, as the marketing might say, well, been in it for 25 years, 30 years, they're just as much Kiss as Gene and Paul were. I could see the switch over happening, and happening very quickly.
And when the Sonic Boom tour came through Atlanta, I don't know if they did this everywhere, but here it was, if you were an adult and you had a lawn seat, you could bring up to 5 kids under the age of 16 in for free.
Right.
And I thought, this has got to be one of the most brilliant marketing things ever, either to fill the venue, plus get those kids that the next time they come around, if they're 14, they're going to be 17, and they're going to go, I saw Kiss when I was 14, I'm going to go again. And now they have the opportunity to do the same thing, maybe not letting in people for free, but going, the next time Kiss comes, it might be Kiss 2.0, and those 12-year-olds might be 14 or 16 and driving and going, oh man, I'm going to go see Kiss.
Oh, absolutely. But Kiss has been 40 years of brilliant marketing.
Right.
I've done interviews recently with Bruce Foster, who played on the first album, and Richie Wise, who was a producer of the first album, and a bunch of other people, and they've all said, when Kiss were in the studio, it wasn't about the music. It was all about this other stuff. They had a vision and the sound and the this and a look. So Kiss has been doing it for 40 years. And
they know what they're doing.
They know what they're doing. They're marketing geniuses. The fact that they have people like you and me talking, at 11 o'clock at night about Kiss goes to show that they're doing something right. Because do people have conversations like this about, the flock of seagulls? Well, no, they don't. And there's a reason for that.
Right. So what do you think about capacity? I mean, Def Leppard drawing 50% of the show, of the crowd, Kiss drawing the other 50%, and do you think that this is going to, do you think they're going to be able to, you can't necessarily, it's really hard to sell out an outdoor arena because of the grass, but do you think that, it'll be 75% full, 80% full, depending, of course, where they are? You think that they, that this will be a huge success?
Well, huge success to me would be 100% sold out, much like a Metallica tour, or maybe a Madonna tour, or U2.
Right.
I'm thinking if Kiss and Def Leppard average 85% tickets sold, they're having an extremely successful tour. I think the average will probably be somewhere, from county to county, 75 to 85%. I think it's going to do very well. I think it'll make a lot of money. And I'm sure that the merch booth is going to be, the cash register is going to be dinging all night at the merch booth.
Oh, yeah.
Kiss doesn't do stuff. Neither does Def Leppard, by the way. They don't do shows to lose money. So they know that this will do well. And Journey with Def Leppard did well. Bryan Adams with Def Leppard did well. This will do fine.
Look, thank you very much for being on. Before we go, I wanted to ask you, two things. One, okay, so we've got Def Leppard and we've got Night Ranger with Kiss. If if you had a dream shot at putting a tour together, Kiss and just say one other band being the opener or co-headliner, who would it be?
Wow, that's a tough question. I mean, my ultimate bill would be a 70s jaunt with Cheap Trick opening up in front of Alice Cooper, and then Kiss and Aerosmith, and have all four bands do the best of the 70s and 80s kind of thing. But
that does sound awesome.
But if I had to pick just one band to share the stage with Kiss, boy, that's a really tough one. Years ago I would have said Aerosmith, but we had that, and it was kind of a big letdown.
Yeah.
Well, musically, who could do that? I mean, I'd love to say Metallica, but I don't think that's the right crowd.
Well, I got to tell you, the answer you gave me was better than what I thought I was going to get. So,
I just thought of who would be a perfect double bill for Kiss. Van Halen with David Lee Roth, and if possible, with Michael Anthony.
Oh man, that would be spectacular. Now you're talking sellout.
Yeah, so now you're talking. So between my Cheap Trick Alice Cooper jaunt and screw it. Let's make it Alice Cooper, Van Halen, and Kiss. Thank you very much.
Done deal.
We'll see you next week. Yeah, that I think that's the only one that anybody would really.
I think that's a good bill. As a matter of fact, I might change my answer, I would love to see Iron Maiden and Kiss, just because I know it would be two huge shows, and I would get my money. But one more thing before we go. Tell
I have as much time as you want. So
okay. Tell everybody where they can find you now and what you've got going on in the near future.
Well, listen, ground zero for me to find me is on my Facebook, facebook.com/Mitch Lafon. It started off as, Mitch was posting, his blueberries growing in his yard. That was like 5 years ago. But as more of the Kiss talk came over, it's been taken over and become sort of an unofficial Kiss landing page. But that's fine. I'm more than happy to have people. So anybody who wants to join me, come on over. I'll approve you right away. But from there, you'll see all my interviews, because I post everything there. I've got Brian May coming up. I've got a bunch of other people coming up. There's also my YouTube page. But go to the Facebook and find out my Twitter. And a lot of the stuff that I interview ends up on bravewords.com. I don't work for bravewords.com, but we have an understanding that if I do something and it fits in their thing, they'll post it. And since I normally do hard rock metal, they post pretty much 99% of everything I do.
Well, hey, thank you very much. I really appreciate it. My shows are short, so I like to get to the point, and you were a great interview. I really appreciate it.
Right. Well, you're very welcome, and I certainly hope I haven't gone on too long. I have
no. It's been great. Yes, no, it's been great, and I really appreciate it. Well, there you have it, folks. Mitch Lafon, formerly of Three Sides of the Coin Kiss podcast, now doing his own thing and enjoying life, obviously. Remember to go online and listen to as many of his interviews as you possibly can. He interviews everybody. Next week, I will have Jody Havnot on again. He is actually going to do the show once a month with me. We had such a good time chatting the last time. We just decided to get together once a month and do it. And I'm sure I will have even more people on with me as the months go on. Thank you again for listening. This week, when Jody and I record for next week, the show topic will be, are you excited about the Def Leppard Kiss tour? And if you could pick one opening band to open for Kiss for you to see them, who would it be? So start thinking about that now, and when you hear the show, you'll hear Jody and I talk about it. Thank you very much, and we'll see you next week. See ya!